What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Sergeant Sosua coming out of the beautiful Dominican Republic, and I'm here today with my battle buddy, my roommate John, the infamous writer. What's going on, brother? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I am very excited to talk about why the Dominican Republic is the best country in the entire world for veterans.
Standing on our 10 with that. We standing on our 10 with those 10 reasons. Yes, please hit like and subscribe if you like what we're talking about. Sign up for our free VIP veterans membership at veteransinparadise.com. We're sending out a newsletter soon. You'll get all the information for things abroad, especially here in the Dominican Republic. So let's get that going, man. We just hit 100 memberships today, man. That's pretty iconic for us, man. How you feel about that?
It goes to show momentum is going, the veteran community is growing. And here, it's funny, every time we talk about veterans coming here, we got 20,000 American veterans on the island. And every time another veteran comes, it's like, 20,001, 20,002. And then we're growing this really beautiful and collaborative community. So I'm pumped up for the next event, April 9th. I see it down in the bar, April 9th at the legendary Flip Flop Sports Bar with everything veterans need to know about moving and coming here. So if you're watching and you're trying to pick a date, be here April 9th.
April 9th, that's the date. That's the date. So let's get right into it, man. One big thing people want to, concerned about, veterans are concerned about is their money. So we're going to talk a little bit about the cost of living. Now, since I moved here, my cost of living has dropped in half, literally almost to the penny from living in Fort Worth, Texas. Now, I know you lived on the East Coast, which we all know in our country is extremely expensive. What was your experience financially with your living costs when you moved to the Dominican Republic?
Coming here, I was paying 2,500 a month in Boston just for rent. That doesn't include utilities, doesn't include transportation, doesn't include the expensive restaurants, doesn't include the million and one taxes. In the United States, you got to pay for every little thing. I feel like when you leave the door in the United States, it's like $100 toll or something like that just to go to like Applebee's. So then I come to Dominican
Yeah.
Republic, and my rent initially was $500 a month. Most meals are like $4 down at Dominican food places, and then I was able to have a much higher quality of life with my military retirement. So that's one thing I think is the most important thing. I'm glad you led with it. That financial health is mental health, and when you're not constantly stressed about the bills, you can enjoy yourself. You can relax. You can find peace.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
man. I
definitely,
was
man.
talking to you about this today. The egg prices in America, they're almost $1 an egg. And it's insane, man. There's people robbing places, robbing eggs. And I looked it up for a thirty unit pack of eggs here is 300 pesos, which comes to about less than $5. Right? We don't
Yeah,
have
and we
bird
got
flu
we
going
got
on.
chickens and there's chickens in the backyard here. Like you're good.
Right. Right. Yeah. El Nino over there wakes me up every morning at 5:30. So yeah, if you ever need that, we have plenty of chickens here. So yeah, man, the cost of living was big for me. I know, like I said, cut my expenses in half instantly. So I live totally and completely on my veteran benefits out here, my retirement and my VA disability. And I live a pretty good
And
life.
if
So
just for reference, if you are 100% rated from the VA, you are within the top 5% of earners in the entire Dominican Republic. So that kind of cost of living plays so much into like your quality of life because, here you can have a maid, you can have a house with a pool, you can have nicer things, or you can live very cheap if you want to live on less as well. I mean, a lot of veterans come out here, they rent little studios for $400 a month, they kind of live the high life and they don't really stress about the bills. So there's big kind of variance in cost of living sometimes, but there
yeah.
are also great cost of living calculators out there. If you Google cost of living calculator, you can actually put in a city and your home city and see the differences. So everything, like you mentioned, the egg prices all the way to rent, to gas, to whatever else. But coming here, life is
Exactly.
cheaper.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot cheaper, man. And then, the other thing what I love is it's cheaper, but we also have such a large veteran community here. So I think, it's estimated around 20,000 of us are on the island. So that's pretty large, man, for such a small island. We bump into them every day. So that was key for me is how many of us was actually living in paradise. It kind of like, oh, you got the memo early. I appreciate it. So I know you have, we have a lot of experience with veterans. Kind of What's been your experience with interacting with vets out here?
It's always kind of fun because literally meet veterans every single day. Here veterans all wear, lots of veterans wear the shirts, the hats, all the veteran stuff, so you're
Mhm.
more easily recognizable. So it's kind of cool to have that out here. But I mean, like, I want to be around other veterans. Like, that's just kind of who I am. That's where I come from. That's what I've known for so long. That's the type of language I talk. That's, you don't really have to be as sensitive around other veterans. Like, so you can. That's what's great about veterans that want to come here now. Like, you can come here to an already existing veteran community. And within that veteran
Right.
community, it's easy to make friends. It's easy to find help. It's easy to get support. It's easy to have battle buddies. So, I mean, what about our event last week with how many veterans were there?
Right. There had to be. I did a count. It was 72 veterans that showed up to that event in small little Sosua and Flip Flops amazing sports bar. So to be able to round up 72 in such a small area, that's pretty amazing that the word got out. And
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 that
thank you to all the vets that showed up and everybody that supported it. It was an amazing event. Thank y'all. Salute to y'all for showing up and supporting us.
Yeah, so I'd say the veteran population is honestly one of the best things that makes Dominican Republic kind of stand above, and not only the veteran population, but the veteran community, which is different than just being around other veterans. When you're around a place that has that kind of community, but then the next thing that I think is extremely important for the Dominican Republic over places like Colombia or Thailand or other places you might be considering is the immigration factor. So I'll let you kind of talk about how the immigration stuff works a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So I've been out here around 9 months. I'll pay a small fee when I leave. Usually less than I'll be end up paying less than $100 to leave the country, and they're not forcing you to do any paperwork to get a visa. I started mine, kind of started the process, but it's so easy. It's so easy to do, and there's no laws. They're not putting you out. They're not, every 180 days you have to leave the country and then come back and start your time over. So you don't have any of those worries here. So you can live a pretty free life. Like, they enjoy us
They're
here.
not going to
That
deport
that
you.
that I know.
They're not going to. They're not going to deport you either. Deport SARS or Sue
Nah,
either.
nah, nah, nah,
That'd be
nah,
a
nah. They
tragedy.
don't want no smoke. They don't want no smoke. They're like, man, you good.
Well, they know that if you're here, you're spending money, you're, out in the community. So much of the country's economy is based around tourism that it's nice to come somewhere and feel welcomed. I mean, I can honestly say, as an American combat veteran, I feel more welcome living here in the Dominican Republic than I do in my hometown. And I think that's something a lot of veterans kind of struggle with. It's like the feeling of home, because home is complicated. Like, I know for you, even home is complicated when you're in the military. I mean, you did 4 deployments, spent 10 years overseas, and then did the other 10, God knows where. But that's something for veterans where it's like, where's home at? Like, I got New York license plate, license. I got to pay my taxes in Iowa. Like, it's different. So to feel home here is pretty cool. And the immigration factor for the Dominican Republic stands above every other country.
Every other country, man. And the big thing is they're already letting you stay here, for an extended time. They're welcoming. And then on top of that, we have healthcare clinics here for veterans, right? And I'll lead into that one. I know we have, three major ones in the area we're at, and we'll talk into them, but we'll talk about them. But just give me a little bit of your experience when it came to dealing with the veteran healthcare system, and the foreign medical program, living abroad.
One thing about the foreign medical program is only currently for service-connected veterans. There is a bill that's going to be in Congress this year that's going to make it so 100% veterans are covered for everything abroad. And I'm hoping that that goes through in the coming months. But for now, you can only do service-connected or things that are aggravated by service connections, which means if you have like a service connection for your back in some way, then you can qualify for like all the chiropractic care and things like that. So that's something to think about when it comes to moving abroad. And it can also treat any condition rated at 0%. That's why it's important to get everything rated, even if it's at 0%. But then you go to these healthcare clinics and they are pretty amazing. I mean, I can say that I've gotten better healthcare in the Dominican Republic by the Veterans Administration than I do in the United States by the Veterans Administration, which sounds like absolutely insane to say that, but there are no wait times here. So if I want like a mental health appointment tomorrow, I can go get one. Those wait times just don't exist. And that's something I remember when I was in the States, when I called the VA, when I was going through struggling, when I just got out of the military, I had to wait 3 weeks to talk to a mental health provider, like when I was like going through it, and that's absolutely terrible. And coming here, the clinics here are, not only are they places where you can go get healthcare, where you can get prescriptions and talk to doctors or whatever, but they're also places of community and friendship and fellowship.
Definitely. And what I always commend the clinics here for doing is finding other ways to treat whatever you have going on. In the States, we're just constantly getting medicated and medicated and medicated. Take some Motrin, drink some water, and drive on, right? That's all they ever tell us.
Mhm.
So here they're doing horse therapies and trips and massage therapies and physical therapies, and just they're providing meals, and one of them's on a golf course. For the veterans that like to play golf. I know another one took a group of veterans to the Super Bowl. I mean, come on, man! Like that's pretty amazing that they can do that, and it's different type of therapy and being around your battle buddies on a constant basis, doing these adventures. It's just pretty amazing how they do that, and you can see the results in the veterans here, especially our older vets. Shout out to them. You can see them living a better quality of life.
There's nothing better than seeing like a Vietnam vet just living it up, and because those guys, I
Man,
mean, they're not going to be around forever. But I remember we went to a Veterans Day ball here, and there was this Vietnam vet out there, and he's dancing with this beautiful Dominican girl. He's got a drink in his hand, and I was like, that's exactly what America should be like for these guys. Like,
right,
let's go.
exactly.
So to see that kind of happiness in the eyes, like, because a lot of times you look at veterans' eyes in the States, it's like it's tired or they're hyper alert or whatever. And you're seeing veterans here like feeling relaxed. And part of it, I think, another thing that's important why here is so good is the food. What you're eating is so much better.
Right.
Like your stomach is like a second brain. So the quality of the food that you're consuming really has an impact on your life. And that's something I didn't really
Definitely.
realize until I got here because I was eating
Yeah,
different
definitely.
foods. So like my skin got better, my stomach kind of like stopped having issues. I know. I mean, how much weight did you lose your first couple of months?
Man, it's amazing the transition. I lost 25 pounds in about 5 months. So I was averaging about 5 pounds a month. And it wasn't because I was on some strenuous workout. I'm gonna gain 10 pounds of muscle and get down to 2% body fat. Like I'm way past that in my life. Um, but just the food, the weather, walking around. Like I tell people all the time, you don't see anything that says organic in our supermarkets here, right?
Mhm.
Everything's organic. We have a guy with pulls up in front of our apartment, every day with fresh fruit, and bananas, and coconuts, and all that stuff on the back of his truck. So we're eating fresher, and we're not eating as much as the preservatives and all the additives and all the other stuff that's causing a lot of cancers and making a lot of people sick in the States. You had said it before, and I kind of want you to speak on this. I thought it was such a good point. You don't see people out here obese or with cancer. You
No,
don't see that
in the
out
United
here.
States, everybody has like diabetes, high blood pressure, all these like kind of crazy things. Like in the States, it seems like everyone like has relatives or knows people with cancer or all those
Mhm.
things. And here, you don't really have that. You don't have those like
Right.
chronic illnesses that are everywhere. And I think of food, the healthier, the healthier way of life to where you're outside more, you're in the sun more, you're eating
Right.
healthier. You can afford to buy eggs here. So if you want to come here, you don't have to go like hold up a store to get a
Right.
carton of eggs at the moment.
Right. Use your credit card to get some eggs. That's crazy, man. And you
Take
talked
it
about it.
alone.
There's something else that's so key is people out here are outside, man. Like that is one thing that warms my heart. When the weather is good, Sundays in Sosua is magical, man. To see all the kids and the families and the older people out there running around on the beach and people eating and playing music. I mean, that vibe is something that a lot of us remember as in our childhood,
Mhm.
hopefully at some point in your life. But here, it's so regular for us. Even some days I'm like, you know what? I want to go see some babies. I'm gonna go to the beach on Sunday and go play with one of the
Your
kids out there.
families.
Right, exactly, man. So, the outside activities is so key to your mental health.
Yeah, and here you can be outside more. I mean, so we live next to Cabarete, which is one of the kite surfing capitals of the world. So some veterans love going there to kite surf. A lot of veterans love going there for fishing, for spear fishing. I go scuba diving here in Sosua, trying to get Sergeant Sosua to do it, but he always
Not
says
gonna happen.
that's why people should not go scuba diving.
That's white people stuff,
But
man.
there are,
Sorry.
there are some, like hiking. You want to be outside, go hiking. You want to go do all these amazing things. And there are opportunities to be outside more and play volleyball at the beach, to go snorkeling, to do these things that are so mentally, healthy as well. Whereas like Sosua said, in the States, it's more individualized. Everyone's like alone on their phones in the States. It feels
Yeah,
like everyone's
yeah,
like living a separate life in a bubble on their phone. Even if people are gathered together, like in public, everyone's still on their phones, whereas
yeah.
here, families kind of interact with each other. They eat together more. They cook together more. There's more of that culture, and I think that bodes really well for veterans who want to be in a more community-based culture.
Definitely, man. I mean, hey, you might not give me the scuba dive, brother, but you got me to literally run off a mountain with a parachute. I'm not airborne. Shout out to those guys. I'm not air assault. Shout out to the brothers and sisters too. But you taught me into that. So hey, that's a win. I promise you, that's a win for the black community also. We don't do stuff like that.
But with
Yeah,
another thing
man.
that's great about here, jump on to the next subject, is that public transportation here. In the States, public transportation is like a horror nightmare show. It's dirty, it's scary, it's dangerous. Coming here, I take the bus a lot, and in the States, like I don't take the bus. Like I would never do
No,
that. So, or I never
no.
grew up taking the bus or anything. So being able to take the bus, being able to take cheap moto taxis, like being able to get around town, and where we live in Sosua is walkable, which is really nice because if I can walk to the beach, I can walk to the gym, I can walk to restaurants, and I can walk to the bar, and I can walk to a grocery store. Then what else do I need? I think that kind of more walkable nature is really good. And then the
Yeah.
transportation here, it's safe and affordable.
I mean, we get to Puerto Plata, which is about a 25-minute drive on a bus, and it's not what you're thinking. A lot of people are thinking probably a small school bus or something. It's a Greyhound bus. The seats are comfortable. They have AC, and that's only costing us 50 pesos to get there. And then if you want to get all the way to Santo Domingo, it's 500 peso, which is what, $10, barely $10.
Yeah,
So
I mean, 50
you can
pesos is less than a
travel.
dollar. So
Right. You can travel. We have a quad and a golf cart. That's our cars parked in front of our house as we speak.
you
We
see
get around
all the
and
veterans riding around town, the little motos and stuff. You see them riding around in
yeah,
the
man, with their
ATV.
helmets.
Like it's a
I
beautiful
love
thing
it,
to see.
man. Hey, one of our battles has a electric bike.
Yeah,
Electric bike, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, seeing him buzz around Sosua on an electric bike.
it's like a
So
55-year-old man riding around an electric bike, just living it up.
with a speaker too. I love it, bro.
Yeah,
I love
and hey,
it.
you can't get a DUI on an electric bike. I don't even think I get a DUI on a golf cart because I've been driving that thing after a couple of years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've been safe, man. They just honk the horn. They're known for that.
Yeah.
I love it, and they just keep it moving, brother. No, no problem. No road rage. You don't see road rage out here. So, talking about transportation, I know big for myself. I have children, a grandchild in the states. Big for anybody have family in the states. The proximity of the Dominican Republic to the United States is a short flight from the East Coast, 2 hours. They have a lot of direct flights coming from New York, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Charlotte, Atlanta. Now, I think there's a flight, Southwest is going to start flying from like Tennessee out here to Punta Cana. So, let's just talk a little bit about how close it is. If something were to happen or you needed to get back home, how close the proximity is.
Yeah, and I lived in Thailand and I love Southeast Asia, and a lot of people do consider like Thailand and the Philippines as great options for veterans, and they absolutely are. But proximity, I think, does weigh into it a lot because you're literally living in an entirely different time zone, like all the way. It's like when you're deployed, but even more. Whereas here, you have a lot of veterans that still work online that want to be, like you mentioned, maybe close to the kids, close to an aging parent. So we could both be in the States tomorrow if we wanted to, and having that kind of connection to the state and closeness to it is really cool. And like Lawrence said, there's flights from all over the world that come to the Dominican Republic. There's tons that come to Santo Domingo, Punta Cana, Santiago. The airport where we live the closest is Puerto Plata, and there are lots of direct flights there, from all over the United States.
It took me total flying from Dallas 4 hours from the time I left Dallas Fort Worth to the time I landed in Puerto Plata. So I mean,
Going
you
to
can't
Thailand next
really
week,
beat.
and it's going to take me like 33 hours to get there when I leave here. So it's going to be a journey.
Yeah, with me, Ozzy and I be praying for you, man. Good luck on that flight.
But then the other thing with the Dominican Republic that I've really felt in my heart that's been like a huge reason why my mental health has improved, why I feel better here, is because where we live is incredibly safe. And feeling that safety, like not having to go out and watch my back, or not having to go out or be hyper vigilant, and being able to feel that kind of peace that comes with that is really priceless. And I think, for a lot of people, the United States feels kind of on a dangerous level. I mean, I know when you're talking about, coming from the United States, like how different it feels where you have to kind of be on your guard a lot, especially in major cities.
Definitely, man. I mean, I was a gun toting, packing Texas guy. Had my concealed in every state that I can get one. Cameras, you name it, man. I lived like that for a long time, even after I retired. And one thing I love about here is, like you said, I I can sit with my back to a door here. I've never done that probably since I was 17 years old. Here, I can sit with my back to the door and don't feel some type of anxiety or I got to be watching and counting heads. I was one of those people. I would go
Mm.
into a busy restaurant with my family. I would know exactly how many people were sitting down at that restaurant. It used to drive my kids crazy, but I used to write it down. So I mean that's what I was dealing with. So here it's like, man, it's no point in doing that. It's the safest place I've ever been in my life. I was stationed in Germany for 4 years, considered one of the safest countries, at least the time I was there, and they don't even compare to the safety aspect here in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, people call Sosua, where we live, the Switzerland of the Caribbean, because people come from all over the world here. Everyone gets along. Like, I've never even seen a fight happen here, and there's people that literally like come here from all over. Everyone gets together. Everyone has a good time. It's a fun party town, but then you also have, a place like the beaches, like there's good international school here and all that stuff too. So it is a safe place. For everyone and anyone who comes here.
Right, right. And that everything we're talking about, and we'll close it with this, is just the mental aspect, the mental impact it has had on you and your life living abroad. Like we talk about this all the time, how veterans are struggling in the States. They're just struggling mentally, physically, and spiritually. So how is it just being out here, brother, just with the weather, everything we talked about, the cost to live in, the proximity to get back to your family, the safety aspect, the food, how has that impacted your mental health since you've been living out here for about 4 years?
The military doesn't take it easy on you. I mean, the military leaves scars on everyone, like especially, guys like us who've deployed a lot, or even if you've been through the training, through the experience of like going into the military, getting out of the military. These are huge, impactful things. And you see so many veterans struggling, and especially for like male veterans, like you have the male mental health crisis in the United States. You see a lot of men that are struggling with purpose, with relationships, with money, with all those things. And then to come here, you realize how much your environment plays into your mental health. Your environment is one of the biggest things for mental health. Like
Definitely.
if you're a plant, you can't grow in toxicity. If you're surrounded by by enemies, by people that don't have your best interests at heart. If you're in a bad environment, it's going to impact your mental health. And
Right.
that's when I realized, like, it's kind of like why people sleep better on vacation. They feel more relaxed. Because they don't have their guard up. They're able to disconnect a little bit. And if you want to continue that kind of relaxed feeling, then come here to Dominican Republic if you're a veteran. I promise you, it is the best country in the world for veterans, and we're building a really positive, supportive, collaborative veteran community here. I mean, like Sosua mentioned, just losing that weight. And a lot of that was, I think, because of stress, right?
100%, brother. 100%. In the States, you're just always worried about something. Excessive phone use is the big one. Like that was a big one for me in the States. I was always on my phone. The fast food, right? We talked about eating here, but I was eating fast food at least 3, 4 times a week, and I'm a pretty healthy guy, even when I felt I was overweight. Little things like that, and then not having the relationships, the erosion of your relationships in the States because we're so busy and we're moving around so much and worried about stuff. You don't get to connect. And here we're kind of like, we send out a text, this location, this time, this is what we're going to do. And we just get there and we all just have a good time, man. It's a blessing. It literally changed my life, man. So I have no
Yeah, and you
complaints. I love it.
you find good community with that. Like we used to weekly rib night. Hey, we had like 10 veterans
Right,
together. Everyone
right.
goes out for ribs on Wednesdays, like something like that. So you have
Yeah,
those kind of friendships, and I would say that here is, it's harder to make friends as you get older, and when especially it's
yeah,
hard for veterans to connect with civilians. I know for me it was hard to even connect with my civilian friends who I knew, like after I got out of the military. So coming here and being able to find fellowship and battle buddies with fellow veterans has really been something that's changed the game for me, and one of the reasons why the Dominican Republic is the best country.
definitely, man. And we're building this community. We're starting from scratch. So you guys gotta log in to the veteransinparadise.com. You can get the newsletter. You're gonna talk about events. We're gonna talk about cost of living. We're gonna feature a veteran. We're gonna start showcasing veterans' talents. And if they're a photographer, a DJ, musician, whatever it is, we're gonna start showcasing these veterans. We're going to keep giving y'all some really good information. Again, it's veteransinparadise.com. John also has the affirmations YouTube page. Please like and subscribe that. The link will be in there. We're trying to do, we're trying to bring everybody together. And I just want to say, man, the movement has been great. We've been getting supported. Like I said, we have 100 VIP subscribers in about a month's time. That's amazing to me. It's about 3 a day. So that's pretty cool. So if you like this information and you like what we're putting out, you got to like and subscribe some of this stuff and get tied in, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me close it out with just knocking down the 10 reasons once again. So here were the 10 reasons why the Dominican Republic is the best country in the entire world for veterans. 1, cost of living. It's cheaper. 2, you have a great veteran population. 3, immigration laws are easier. 4, you have veteran centers and healthcare here. 5, the food here, amazing fresh. 6, great adventure activities. 7, public transportation is great. 8, you have close proximity to the United States. 9, safety. 10, mental health. Those are the 10 reasons why the Dominican Republic is the best country in the entire world for American veterans abroad. And if you want a higher quality life at half the price, if you want peace, if you want to change your environment, if you want a fresh start, come on down and check out the Veterans in Paradise newsletter. Check out the event April 9th. Put it on the calendar and we'll have a beer together there.
Hey, no more Sosua slander. Okay, no more. We standing on our 10 on this. No more Sosua slander. Hey, this is your boy Sergeant Sosua. I've been blessed to be with my boy, my battle buddy, my roommate, John, the infamous writer. Y'all have a blessed week, have a blessed weekend, and make that jump off the plantation. It's an amazing life. God bless everybody. Appreciate you, brother.